class, the first thing you need to do is you need to go to aplusstudents.com to the website. Once you're on the website, you need to select math as your subject because this is a maths class. Your grade is grade 6. Okay. The topic for today is two-dimensional figures or shapes. Okay. Figures are also known as shapes. I'll give you the chapter number and the lesson number. The chapter number is 30. So for us today, the chapter we will be studying chapter 30, and the lesson number is lesson 5. And the name of the lesson is Central Angles of a Circle. Okay, so before we begin this, let's go to the topic. Grade 6. Okay, 1 minute please. We go to grade 6, chapter number 30. That's chapter number 30 and lesson number 5. So before doing anything, what we need to remember is a circle is always made up of 360 degrees, right? The length from the center to the circumference is always known as the radius. This is known as the radius. And the angle in a circle is always 360 degrees, right? The same thing we did was we had a circle. If we had a circle, we did the circle into half. Then this circle was known as semicircle, right? So, and we know that the semicircle will have a straight line in the middle. That is known as the diameter. Okay. So in a, this is radius and this is radius. The complete is a diameter. And we know that a semicircle will have an angle of 180. Okay. Similarly, if we have another circle, we're just recalling this, right? Because we want to see how circles can be divided. So if we have a circle, and I would say, let's make a line over here, and let's make a line over here. That means we are trying to consider a quarter circle. And a quarter circle will always have an angle of 90 degrees, right? So we can say this is a quarter circle. That means a 90 is also known as a right angle. And in this case, this length is the radius and this length is also the radius. Okay. So we know that a circle can be broken down into 3 basic shapes: a complete circle, a semicircle, and a quarter circle, right? A complete circle would always have 360 degrees. Okay, so we use the name that we can always call that as complete angle. We can call this circle as complete angle. This would be half of a complete angle, right? So we can say half of a complete angle, a semicircle, right? And this is quarter. That means 1/4 of a complete angle. Okay. So in a circle, the complete angle is also known as full angle. So if you hear the term complete angle or the full angle, it would still mean the same. There's another term that can be used. It's read as Perigon, and it's known as perigon. Okay, so if ever I use the term perigon, that would mean we are talking about a complete circle. Okay, so let's see what questions we have. Hi, welcome to the class. What we are trying to study today is if a complete circle is given to us, the 360 can be broken down into smaller angles, right? And we will try to see what is the measure of the smaller angle. What is the size of the smaller angle, okay? So the first question we have in this topic is, I'll just copy the first question. And this is our first question. And the first question says, what is the measure of the unknown angle that is given to us? Okay. We know that a complete angle is always made up of how much? It is always made up of 360 degrees, right? So what we can say is, in this shape, if we had three angles, right? 1, 2, and 3. So we knew the value of two angles. Can we add them all three together and say their total would be 360, right? A complete angle, right? Or what we can do is, from the total, if we subtract the given two angles, so can I say 360 minus 130, right? 0 minus 0, 6 minus 3 is 3, and 230. Now we subtract the next angle, that means 170. 0, we carry 1. 13 minus 7 is 6, and this would be a 0, right? So can we say that the missing angle comes out to be, 60 degrees? Can we say this is the missing angle and it comes out to be 60 degrees? Because we know that the sum of all the angles inside a circle is always 360, right? Yes, and 230 minus 170 would be 60, right? Or what you can do is you add the angles first. 130 plus 170, 0 plus 0 is 0, 3 plus 7 is 10, carry 1, this is 300, right? That means the sum of the angles was 300, and we subtract directly 300 from the answer, and we get 60 as the remaining value, right? Okay, so what we can say is either of these working, whichever you think is easier for you, you can do this way, or you can do the other way. You add the angles together, given angles together, and then you subtract from the 360, because a complete angle is always 360. A complete angle is also known as a full angle or perigon. Okay, it's also pronounced as perigon. Okay, so let's look at, thank you so much for your answer. Let's move on to the next question. And in the next question, we would try to solve it by writing an equation. Okay. So the next question says, find the missing or the unknown angle in the given question. So if I would say this was given to us, okay, let's say this is question number 2. What I say is the unknown angle that we need to find, I label this as a variable. I say this is angle X. Okay. We need to find the value of X because that is the missing angle. So can we say that 140 plus 175 plus the value of the missing angle X should be equal to the total complete angle? that should be equal to 360, right? So 140 plus 175, we can do over here. 140, 175, 5, 4 plus 7 is 11, 1 and 3, right? So we can say 315 plus x should be equal to 360, right? So if 315 is being added on this side, can we subtract 315 on the other side? That means we subtract 315 on either sides. Agreed? 315 cancels out. That means x comes out to be, what is 360 minus 315? X comes out to be 45 degrees. Okay, do we agree on this? So we can say that it comes out to be 45. Yeah, thank you. That means 140 plus 175 is 315 minus 360. That is 45 degrees. Moving on. Thank you for the answer. Moving to the next question. We have the next question that says two angles. There could be three angles. There could be 100 of angles in this. Okay. We are just considering the basics. We are looking at three angles only. If I would say for question number 3, it says find the missing angle. Can we say that the missing angle is, let's suppose, y? We take another variable y. Can we say 150 plus 110 plus the angle y should be equals to 360? We can suppose any variable, right? I'm not using x because which I already used in the previous question. Okay, let's see what is the total of 150 if we add 150 plus 110. 062, 260. So in place of this, we can write 260 plus y should be equals to 360. Sorry, plus y should be equals to 360. Do we agree? 260 was added on this side. When we take 260 to the other side, it will subtract. And we will be left with y comes out to be 100 degrees, right? So let's try one more thing in this. We know that the angles between, okay, I'll write it down over here. The angle is always acute, right? And the angle between 90 to 180 would always be obtuse. So we would try to have some extra information over here, right? We will try to process some also. So in this case, x was acute. And in this case, y is obtuse, right? 100 degrees. Yes, 100 degrees is your answer. So we can say this is 100 degrees. Agreed? So let's process this information also so that we can revise what we did in our earlier topics as well. Okay, thank you. Y comes out to be 100 degrees. And since it is more than 90, it will be called obtuse angle. Moving to the, yes, thank you. Moving to the next question. We will also see whether it's obtuse or acute, okay? So the next question we have is question number 4. Let's see what we can do in question number 4. Question number 4 states that we are given two angles and we are missing this angle x. So can we say 110 plus 130 plus the missing angle should be equals to 360, right? And the missing angle we suppose as the variable x. So what is 110 plus 130? 042, right? So we can say 240 plus x should be 360, and x comes out to be 240 was added on this side. When it goes to the other side, it's subtracted. Sorry. So the answer should be 360 minus 240. The angle x should come out to be what is 360 minus 240? 360 minus 240 should be equal to, yes, thank you. It should be equals to 120 degrees. And since 120, yes, thank you, Quincy. Okay. Brighty, is that your name or just a login name? Okay, I'll use the login name to call you out. Okay. So is this angle acute or obtuse? Is 120 degrees acute or obtuse? Since it's greater than 90 and less than 180, then this angle is obtuse, right? Thank you. Moving to the next question. The next question says, okay, very nice question. Sometimes just by looking at the question, we can also find the answer, but we will do the complete working. So the next question says, find and measure the unknown angle. Okay, this would be our question number 5. So we can say that the missing angle, we can suppose a new variable. We can say the missing angle was angle A. Okay, we can suppose any variable, right? We have already used x, y on the screen. I'm using a new variable. So can I say 140 plus the second angle, that was 130, plus the missing angle should be equals to a complete angle, right? Plus A degrees. What is 140 plus 130? 0. 4 plus 3 is 7, and this should be 2. So that means this is equal to 270 degrees plus the missing angle should be equals to 360. And the answer for angle A would come out to be 360 minus 270. And that should be equal to, angle A should be equal to 106. Typing error, right? 106 is not possible there. Okay. So when we subtract 360 minus 270, we get an answer that says 90 degrees. As per our given information over here, we know that what kind of an angle this is. If A comes out to be 90 degrees, right? And we know that whenever we have a 90 degree, we make a box angle. Crincely, which option are you talking about? 110? Sorry, 360 minus 270. 360 minus 270 should be 90 degrees, right? I'll just show you the working. If we say 360 minus 270, 0 minus 0 stays 0. We cannot subtract 7 from 6, so we carry. 16 minus 7 is 9, and 2 minus 2 was 0. So we are left with 90, right? So is 90 an acute or obtuse? What should this angle be? Should this be acute or obtuse? What is a 90-degree angle called? What is a 90-degree angle called? Is it acute or obtuse or something else? Okay, no problem. What is a 90-degree angle called? Is it called acute, obtuse, or something else? Yusuf, what is the 90-degree angle called? Is it acute or obtuse? Can I have the answer? We know that an angle that is less than 90 is acute. An angle greater than 90 is? It's okay. That's fine. An angle that is greater than 90 would be obtuse. No, 90 cannot be acute. See, an angle that is exactly 90 is known as 90 degrees, is known as right angle. Okay, we would remember this for the next time. An angle that is exactly 90 is known as a right angle. It is not an acute, it is not obtuse, but it is a right angle. Okay, a 90-degree angle would always be a right angle. Acute is less than 90. If the angle would have been 89, we will say it is acute. If the angle would be 91, we will say it is obtuse. But if it's exactly 90, we say this is a right angle. Okay? Yes, thank you. So we are trying to find the answer, and we are also trying to identify what should be the name of the given angle, right? Okay. Moving on ahead to the next question. Let's try to find the next. Okay. They say find the measure of the unknown angle. I'll just copy it on the screen. This would be our question number 6. Okay. So the question number 6 says, if this is the given question, and let's simplify. Let's suppose if I say this is the missing angle, I say this is x, right? Can we add all the angles together and say that the sum of a complete circle or a complete angle is how much? 360, right? So we can say 120 plus 190 plus the missing angle should be 360, right? So what is 120 plus 190? When we add 0, 11, and this 310. So we can say 310 plus the missing angle should be 360. Missing angle was x. So can we find the value of x? Oh, am I doing something wrong? Oh, that's simply a 90. My mistake. See, this was simply a 90. Okay, that's not 190. Right? Sorry, I read this as 190. Then this means 210. That means 360 minus 210, and the value for the angle should come out to be, apologies, yes, thank you. It comes out to be 150 degrees. Is it acute or obtuse? An angle that is greater than 90 but less than 180 is known as obtuse angle. Thank you. Thank you for the answer. Okay. See, it was 90 written. I was looking at 90, but I was doing 190, right? So sometimes the information is right there and we need to reread the question, right? If I would not have read it, then I would have made a mistake there, right? So it's better once you put down the values, let's read the question again, okay? Okay, the next question is question number 7. And question number 7 says, find the missing angle. If I say this is angle Y, so what we can do is we can add the angles together, or we add them together. We say these two angles would be 130 plus 80, 0, 1, 1, 210. So I say this complete angle is 210 degrees. So now can I say Y, sorry, so can I say Y plus 210 if I broke down this into two angles only now? This is a complete angle, right? Should be equals to 360. Y would be 360 minus 210, and Y again comes out to be 150 degrees. Okay, and still it is a obtuse angle. Okay. Let's see if we can shade these. Yes, we can shade these. Okay. That means this was 210 and we had to find the value of Y. Yes, it's okay. But what we were looking at is that was 200 and that was in question number 6, it was 150. But the angles were different, right? The angles were 120 and 90. In this case, the angles are 130 and 80. So we need to understand that irrespective of the angles, if the combination, the total or the sum of the two angles is 210, then the third angle would obviously be obtuse, right? It doesn't make any difference that if two questions have the same answer, they can have the same answer, right? Thank you. Okay. Moving ahead to the next question. The next question says, find the measure of the unknown angle. Okay. Please help me out with the next one. It says, these are the angles which are given to us. Question number 8. Let's try to solve these. If I said this missing angle was P, okay, P degrees. So can I say 110 plus 95 plus P should be equals to 360? I'm using any variable that you wish to use, right? You can use P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, any alphabet for the angle. So what would be the angle? What would be the answer for the missing angle? What is 110 plus 95? See, the easiest way is 110 plus 100. That would be 210 and minus 5, right? So we can say this is 205 plus P is equals to 360, and the angle P comes out to be, therefore P would be equals to, sure, 160? We have a 95, it cannot be 160. Please confirm. 110 plus 95. 110 plus 95 is 205. What is 360 minus 205? Okay, let's do it like this. if 360 was given to us, we had to subtract 205. Let's subtract 200 first. 360 minus 200 is 160. Then we had a 5 left. So 160 minus 5 is 100 and agreed. The answer for the angle P should not be 160. It should be 155, and it still is an obtuse angle. Do we agree that it is 155? Okay, let's move to the next question. The next question says, if the two given angles of the inner circle are of the same value, find the missing third angle. Question number 9. Can we say this angle is angle X? Yes, thank you. Currently, it's 155. Yeah, no problem, no problem. See, sometimes I also did the same mistake, right? So it's okay, as humans, we do make mistakes, but when we cross check, when we recheck, we can always do the correction, right? I make mistakes too. Human errors are always there, right? But what we are doing over here is we're trying to solve the question and recheck. No worries, okay? For this next question, question number 9, what should be the missing angle? Can anyone help me out? Sorry. What should be the missing angle? X. We know that the given angle was 120. 120 plus x degrees should be equals to 360, right? 120 plus 120 is 240, plus x would be 360, and x comes out to be 360 minus 240. Can anyone give me an answer? What is 3? Yes. Thank you. It comes out to be 120 degrees, and this is an obtuse angle. Okay. Let's see, we found the answer and we learned something else as well. See, this angle was 120, this was 120, and we found the answer that was still 120, right? Agreed? Thank you, Princely. And thank you, Brightly. See, the two given angles were 120 and 120. When we found the third angle, it's again what? 120. So that means if we say that the sum, there were three angles, they were equal, right? 120, 120, and 120, right? So we can say 120 multiplied by 3 should be 360, right? That means all three angles. Whenever they say or use the word that a circle is divided into three, let's suppose you buy a pizza and there are three friends, right? And you all three friends want to eat equally, share equally, right? Then the pizza should be sliced at an angle of 120. Agreed? Do we agree on that? Or we say that if 360 was the total angle of the pizza, there were three friends, then each friend should get 120. That means these angles are equal angles. They are equal in area also. Okay, because their angles are same. Okay. We will do, I think, areas also. Oh, once we'll do those now, then I'll teach you something about choices. Like when we go to a restaurant, a pizza place, they're giving different offers. Like sometimes they give one large at a price, or we can take two smaller at the same price, right? So through maths, you can easily find out which orders you should pick, which would get you more value for the money. Okay. Okay, we will do that, but let's do this for now. Question number 10. And if I say the missing angle is this angle, and we say this is y degrees, can you give me the answer for y? What is the answer? Can we say 140 plus 60? Agreed? So what is 140 plus 60? 14 plus 6 would be 20, right? Same way, 140 plus 60 would be 200. Agreed? Yes, thank you so much. The angle y comes out to be 160, and 160 is obtuse angle. Let's try a few questions from the test. Let's see what our requirements are. Okay. Let's go to the test together. Okay. Let's look at the test. The first question in the test says, let me just copy that for you. Okay. I have the first question. We have the two given options. Let's see which option would be correct. For question number 1 from the test, I'll just paste it down. We'll see which is the correct, okay? Help me out, option A or option B? This is the test. That's the first question. See, in this question, you can always do the working, right? But the answer given to us is very far from each other. It could be 20 degrees or it could be 90 degrees, right? Whenever we see a perpendicular line is like the edge of a wall where the floor meets the wall or the roof meets the wall, right? That is a right angle, right? We can say this is the right angle just by looking. And the right angle cannot be 20. So the right angle would be, see, out of these two options, we need to, sometimes we can even guess the answer, right? Or if we do the entire working, we would say 140 plus 130, that is 270. 270 plus the missing angle should be equal to 360. Yes, 90 degree is the right angle, okay? That means the missing angle would be 360 minus 270. That means the missing angle should be 90. And we could have found it by just by looking at the question as well, because 20 degrees would be a very small angle, right? And 90 is always a quarter. The first thing we did was we broke down a circle into a semicircle and a quarter, right? So we know that if ever we have a quarter of a circle, that we will consider it as a 90. Okay. So moving on to the next question. Question number 2. They're saying, okay, question number 2 says, find the missing angle. Very simple. We can put it as x. I know the answer just by looking, because 200 degrees is more than 180, right? And this missing angle does not look like more than 180. This is obtuse, right? So it has to be less than 180. And we have only two options, 100 or 200. So we can easily find which is the answer just by looking at the diagram, right? But we need to show the steps too. So we can say 170 plus 90 plus x would be 360. Agreed? The answer for question number 2 should be the answer. Yes, 100 degrees, right? Thank you. Because 100 is possible over here. But if this was 200, then this should be something like this, right? 200 is this angle, right? More than 180. But that is not our requirement. Our requirement is an obtuse angle, whereas 200 is not an obtuse angle, right? Moving ahead to the next question. Okay, 100 was the answer. Okay, the next question says, find the measure of the unknown angle when the two angles given are 140 and 60. If these two angles are given to us, we need to find the missing angles. Question number 3. Sorry. Or we simply add them and subtract from 360. So the two given angles are 140 and 60. 0 plus 0 is 0. 4 plus 6 is 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. That means the total of these two angles would be 200 degrees. If the total of the two angles is 200 degrees, yes, thank you so much. 160 is the correct answer. Why? Because when 360 minus 200 would be y, and y comes out to be 160, and it is an obtuse angle. Thank you. Moving ahead. I hope you are clicking on the answers together, right? So that later on you would have minimal work to do. As many questions we can do together, we will do them together. Grinsley, do you agree on this? So the next question says, find the missing answer. Grinsley, can I have your reply? Do we agree? The question number 4 says, the two options given. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So the question says we are given two options over here, 60 and 80. So what should be the answer? Should it be 60 or should it be 80? See, what we can do is we can add these two angles together. 165 plus 115. 5 plus 5 is 10. We carry 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 2 comes over here. That means this angle, the total angle that is given to us is how much? 280. And we know that the total angle would always be 360, right? So from 360, if we subtract 280, we should be left with, sure, please verify again. See, 360 minus 60 would be, yes, thank you. Prinsley, 360 minus 60 is 300. It's not 280, right? Let's do the subtraction, right? Let's try the subtraction. In subtraction, we had 360 minus 280, right? 0 can be subtracted from 0, but 8 cannot be subtracted from 6. So we carry from here. 3 becomes 2 and this becomes 16. 16 minus 8 is, and 2 minus 2 was 0. So why? 165 plus 115 is 280. Right? You gave the same answer. Correct answer. 280. And 360 minus 280 is, I just showed you the working. Why would you change your answer? You're not supposed to change your answer, right? 360 minus 280 is 80. Right? Right, righty. And Prinsley, do we agree? 360 minus 280 would be 80. Do we agree? Okay, thank you so much. That means the correct answer is 80 degree. Okay, you did not. See, let's do it again. No problems, okay? I'll remove this. I'll remove this. Let's see why that was. The first angle that was given to us was 165 and 115, right? Can we add 165 and 115 together? 0 plus 0, oh sorry, 5 plus 5 is 10. We carry the 1, right? 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. 1 plus 1 is 2. That means the sum of these two angles comes out to be 280. And this angle was x, right? So we can write x plus 280 degrees should be equal to 360 degrees. So we can say x is 360 minus 280. So when we subtract 360 minus 280, 0 minus 0 is possible. But 6 minus 8 is not possible, right? So we carry from here, we do it over here. 16 minus 8 is 8 and this was 0. That means x comes out to be 80 degrees. Right? Agreed now? It's just a small thing over there. Like addition, subtraction is a problem. We can have the errors. We can always cross-check. How can you cross-check? If you get the answer, then you add these two numbers and this should always equals to 360. Right? Or you add all the three angles, it should come up to 360. Right? Yes, please do. They're very simple. Try them, practice them, and have a nice day. Thank you so much.